Okay. Now, basically, I haven't created the Hello World from scratch here, but I just used the great resources available on developer.android.com, and I'll go through highlighting some of the things that sort of you should look at, the terms that will come up again and again when sort of you look at more interesting scenarios and harder problems. Uh, Creating a new project is as simple as ABC, and we'll just do it also together. We launch Eclipse, file, new project, and sort of there's an Android project that can be created right there. Uh, there are details required which are quite simple. The project name, like any other project, the build target. This is the platform version that sort of we want to target, and usually it should be equal to or lower than the target we choose for the AVD. uh, the application name, package name that we want to start with, and we need to create an activity. So right now we just need to give an activity name, uh, and sort of as we get into the discussion later, we'll just sort of try and explain what activity is, because this term will come up again and again. And this is sort of just a screenshot of what the project creation screen looks like. There are details like minimum SDK version and things that we want to support. Right now I'm skipping those details, and I would assume that sort of for the Hello World you'll just aim for the latest versions, and then when you need specific APIs, specific targets, you will sort of be able to figure this out. Now the project that gets created is not empty. It's quite sort of few things come in by default in this Hello World activity. So there's one class which is a main class, which is the Hello World activity itself, which gets created. There are generated files which we are not expected to edit, and they essentially are a way of managing and handling and sort of accessing the resources that we put into our application. Resources, except for the icons, there's nothing much here. There is a layout definition that gets created, and there are some constants and values that are put into the strings file. And there is one important file beyond our Hello World activity, which is the Android manifest file that gets created. And we just sort of look at these concepts and files uh, in some detail. So basically I'll just go, this is a code snapshot of the activity that has gotten created. Uh, there's a class which extends this base class activity and implements a function called onCreate. Here basically this activity or this onCreate function essentially in short is the starting point for our code, and this is where sort of our code gets instantiated and can take action based on what we think is right. So what has been done here is that a very simple view has been created. So now any UI on Android is a sort of hierarchy of views. So you can mix your layouts, you can design where you want certain things to go. So sort of buttons, images, and the simplest thing when we're trying to do Hello World is to create a text view and sort of set text there, and then sort of send the content view there. And this creates, I mean, when this application is run, it sort of just generates exactly what we were looking for, the first Hello World. Uh, there are certain concepts here. So one is activity, and I mean there's a lot of documentation around this. I've tried to sort of just try to simplify it as far as I could and put it here. So an activity is a single application entity that is used to perform action. Now it's a very general definition, but sort of the point is that how the user is going to interact, the concept, sort of the what is going to get set up for him is what is defined in an activity. An application can have many and separate sort of activities around, but users would generally interact with one activity at a time. And on create is called whenever the Android system will start that particular activity. Now, the UI, as I mentioned, is composed of hierarchies of object called views, and a view simply is any drawable object. So button, image, or sort of, for our example, we used a text label which said hello Android or hello world. Basically, this simple example was a slight modification on what the actual program, when you create a hello world program, would look like. So usually, instead of the three bold lines here, you would only see one line which is sent content view r.layout.main, and basically this is something that is best explained in our Eclipse tool. So let's just get rid of this right now, and let's open our hello world program and look at the resources. And in layout, there's a definition of this main.xml, which is what is getting accessed from that code. We are defining a linear layout, which is just a simple sort of, by definition, sort of one after other view that we can put, and there is one simple text view that we are defining, and this text view also is using sort of another set of constants which are defined in values in this strings.xml. And we define a string identified by hello. We define our app name as hello world, and this is what gets used in our system. So in order to put as little as possible into our code, Android encourages us to define our resources, our layouts in XML as far as possible. So this is the same XML that we saw in Eclipse, the same strings.xml that we saw outside in Eclipse. The terms that come up very often when we are trying to understand or build an app are activity, service, content provider, intents, and manifest. And I sort of showed you one activity for us, which was just a hello world, which on getting created did something or just sort of showed a text view. The other are as important, but sort of in our hello world program, we've looked at an activity. We sort of have not looked at the manifest, which is essentially a collection of a lot of information about the Android application to the Android system, and it sort of does everything. So the name of the Java package for the application is defined here. It defines all the components of an application, the activities, services, broadcast receivers, content providers, what the application is composed of. It declares the permissions, it declares the APIs that are required, right? So it declares the minimum level of the Android API that might be required. It lists if any libraries or stuff should be linked, right? So the simplest manifest actually is something that we can look at right here. This manifest is primarily defining just one thing, that is our main activity, which is what will get launched when we start this program or this program comes up. So the Android version, the version name, the min SDK required, and then the activity itself from where our program will start. So we can just go to our emulator and run our hello world program. So on create will get called, and that's about it. So the hello world comes up, that's the app name, the hello world activity statement that or the string that we had put in the XML gets displayed. There are a lot of other things that will come up and which sort of you will be using when you define any application. The intents are the most common and they get used everywhere. It's basically a message. Intent is a message or a bundle of information, and it's something that sort of you send from one component of your application to another, and these intents can be targeted to a particular service, or they can be just put out without sort of actually knowing who's going to pick it up and handle it. So I'll sort of, beyond the hello world, I'll later on sort of take example of an activity where we've used intent directly sort of to do some stuff between our network component and the application. Uh, Activity life cycle. I've taken sort of this slide not because I necessarily want to get into a lot of details here, but basically because on a mobile we need to remember a lot of things. So when we start developing on a mobile, the mobile device is not just meant to run our application only. There are other things that happen on a mobile device. Okay, so phone calls come, SMSs come, messages, notifications come. There are other applications that might be running, alarms might be set, right? Emails might come in. So people might keep their phone somewhere and go away. So the system itself and the applications need to handle this as cleanly as possible. So when you write an application, you should understand that your activity might not be in the foreground all the time. It might get certain callbacks to handle those situations. And this activity life cycle sort of just explains that. So how an activity starts and how an activity is shut down is something that this chart explains, and that is something that every developer should be aware of and should work on. Now, beyond the hello world, basically I'll just browse through one of our apps which is called Hangman Kids. The application is primarily a spelling learning tool. So the idea is to show the kid a picture with an interesting animation of a rabbit. uh, the kid tries to guess the spellings of whatever the object in the picture is. If he gets them right, the spellings get filled in, otherwise sort of the rabbit keeps falling down. Uh, there is a part wherein sort of more and more images can be fetched from the network or from the server, so that we don't need to make our application very heavy, and fresh content can be made available to the users. Now this application itself is sort of slightly more complicated, so I'll just sort of browse through the code, point out a few things which make it more interesting than the uh, Hello World application. So primarily sort of let's start with the Android manifest itself, which now becomes slightly sort of longer. There are certain permissions that have been put in. The number of activities that have been defined has increased. There is a service around the network that has been defined here. The classes itself sort of have been split up into multiple things. We've tried to sort of keep the UI definitions and everything and our model and the controllers separate. The resource Java file has been created sort of out of this, which automatically gets generated. So a lot more resources are getting used here. For all our screens and stuff, we've defined our layouts directly with XMLs, trying to sort of avoid defining them in the code. And sort of there is some basic music that we've put in here. The network service basically extends an intent service, and the idea here was to sort of have something which can asynchronously queue all the requests that get generated on the network and one by one handle them. So whenever the application or some activity on the wants to fetch data from the server, an intent is generated, and that request is then handled by this network connecting service. Just to sort of run it quickly. So this is the application, and basically the user can go to the game, the settings, help, stats, and come out. So there's a list of sort of series of words based on grades and ease of use and difficulty of use. And sort of this is the main game screen where there's an image, there are letters that need to be guessed, right? A bit of animation where sort of the animator has been used, right? So something that engages the kids and they can play, and then they can sort of learn the spellings and stuff. And this is something that got created very quickly by people who were already comfortable in Java, who had been doing work on J2ME or sort of BlackBerry. Okay. So beyond that, basically, once you have an application which is something substantial, which is interesting, and which you want to share with people, then you just create a package which, if you just want to do it from Eclipse, is again very simple. There's a self-signed certificate which is required, and the tool itself helps you generate that. And this APK is what sort of we are ready to publish to the marketplace.